All right, we're going to head back to the American First Museum, or American Jazz Museum, rather. Mayor Lucas is speaking. Here he is.
As somebody who was mayor in 2020 is something that kind of surprises me. So I feel blessed, but I also feel like there's an important challenge for us in the years ahead to make sure we keep doing important work.
It's a whole new council. How will you work together?
You know, I served on the city council before. I was one of the first mayors in about 20 years or so to have come directly from the council. I think that helped us continue to get things done. Affordable Housing Trust Fund, bond elections, we've approved roughly $3 billion in new public investments for the people of Kansas City. That came through our last council, so I expect an ongoing, seamless relationship. I like to think of myself as a pretty nice person, even if people don't agree with me all the time. And indeed, there are some people even here tonight who weren't necessarily Quinton Lucas supporters, but I think are folks that want to work together for the best interest of the city long term.
Is there a number one thing that you want to get done with this new council that's a sort of top priority for you?
You know, I think we need to continue to improve our neighborhoods in different parts of the city. We have aging housing stock. We continue to lose population in East Kansas City, South Kansas City, and in Southern Clay County. I think strong neighborhoods help build safer communities, help build more investment long term. So some of the work that you've already seen on the Prospect Avenue corridor, for example, in a number of other areas of the city will be something we continue. I think that's priority one. And of course, bringing more businesses and jobs to Kansas City is going to be another part of it. I guess I will also say this, you know, from the city council results tonight, we have some different folks, right? And we have, admittedly, perhaps political extremes from some of our districts. I think a big part of what the mayor has to do is unify us and make sure that we're marching in a direction that's for the best interest of Kansas City. I have now run 3 times on the ballot in the city of Kansas City. This will be my last Kansas City election, and I've been proud that each of those times I've brought a coalition together of a lot of different types of folks. As a guy who started as an East Side candidate supported by Freedom Inc. out of the black community and have been able to get a super majority of the city, now once again, I look forward to helping that in leadership with our next city council.
Mayor, it was jokingly said that you were going to run for president, possibly. How important is it for you to come through on these 4 years, and how do you sort of project into the future if possible?
Well, here's the thing, right? I think the people of Kansas City elected me to make sure I do a good job for Kansas City, and every now and then that kind of leans over into other parts of western Missouri and eastern Kansas. I'm proud to have good relationships with both the governors of Missouri and Kansas. I'll be meeting with Mike Parson tomorrow, and so I think what I want to do is continue to see growth. What that growth means, though, is that we'll continue to stand up for what's right. You have seen us in recent weeks stand up for the rights of trans persons in Kansas City. We'll continue to do that. You've seen, I attended LGBTQ Pride in Gardner, Kansas the other day. I look forward to Kansas City being really a beacon of hope for this entire region. Not just great businesses and great events, but a place that stands for human rights. And so I think we'll continue to be that sort of place. And I feel supported by 80% of the people of Kansas City in saying this. You know, I heard this when I was a younger kid. There was a president who noted that he got a mandate when he only won, you know, probably about a little above 50% of the vote. Today we have 80. I think we have a mandate to continue to do good, important, bold, powerful, and progressive things for the future of Kansas City. All right? Thank you.
All right. Mayor Lucas speaking at the American Jazz Museum tonight. He has won that re-election here. We're going to hear more from the mayor coming up later in this newscast. But first,